Well, good morning. Welcome to Self-Love with Conscious Living with me, Reverend Lee Wolak, and my spiritual guide friend Toby. We're here to talk to you today about this idea of, are you blind? Yeah, are you blind? And what I mean by that is, are you going to go through today with filters of the past, so that you don't see what's happening around you, that you're not aware of the miracle of life that's happening? Because that's what happens when we allow filters, our past, to cover up, to shade our eyes. So how we look at things comes from that perspective. We blind ourselves to the infinite possibilities that are surrounding us right in this moment. And we don't even realize it. And people wonder, why do you want to let go of the past? Because it stops you from being in the now. It stops you from being in a greater state of mind, a greater, more expansive state. But we don't realize that because we've been so conditioned to say, oh, the past is relevant. Well, the past are experiences that we've had that do color our eyes, and there's lessons to be learned. And once you've learned the lesson, the past is no longer relevant. You've learned the lesson, so you have to be able to let it go so you're free to have a new experience. This is something that I truly know and this is why we judge. We look at someone and we say, oh, we had that experience with them, and so now we've got to judge them based on that experience. And that may have been 10 years ago, and now they're a whole new person. You're also a whole new person. So why wouldn't you look at them differently? Why wouldn't you look at them through the new eyes that you are? You see, the thing that we forget that we're all part of the same one, that we were created out of the one, that each of us was created perfect. When we allow the illusion of having an ego, a personality that's influenced by the past, and that personality creates the experience we have now. So if we want to have a truly incredible life, we've got to take what we can from the past, we've got to let it go, and we've got to live in the now. That's just the way it is. I don't know how else to make it any clearer. Every great teacher, spiritual teacher, psychology teacher, philosopher that I've studied always talks about that the only thing that exists in the now. But that's really hard for us to get. It's really hard for us to guess because we're so conditioned by everything around us that we have to have the past involved. So I share that with you, not to scare you, not to put you down, but to hopefully help you see that you have a possibility in you that's even greater. And I don't know what else to say about that. So tell me, you've got a comment section there. I brought my spiritual sidekick, Toby, with me. And yeah, he's listening. Do you hear that? He's ready to help guide you and me in any questions we may have about anything in life. So please type them in. It'll give me something to chat with you about today. Today is Friday, and when we meditate on Fridays, we meditate on the throat chakra. Most people, the throat chakra is blocked because in the throat chakra, first thing is you got to know who you authentically are. And then when you know who you authentically are, you have to speak your truth. How many of you are holding back and not speaking your truth? How many of you are subordinating yourself to others? Or how many of you are putting others down so that you feel better? Think about this. No one's better or worse than anyone else. Do you get that? We're just unique. That's a different way of looking at life. And that way there's no judgment. We just know, hey, we're all unique. So Gloria, you're unique. Kay, you're unique. Peter, you're unique. Maggie, you're unique. And so are the rest of you that are listening and watching to this little podcast that we're doing. See, Toby's getting restless. Can you see that? He says, there's no questions here, so let me play with your fingers. The thing is, I don't want him to get too playful because sometimes this bird can do a bite. Ooh, and it's not good. That beak of his is powerful. I know, I've been the victim many times of it. And it's because I haven't paid attention. I wasn't aware that even though this pet I've had for going on 40 years came from the wild, and he still has wild tendencies. So think about that. If the bird's been with me for almost 40 years, but he only had a year, 11 months. Oops, sorry, babe. 11 months that he was in the wild, but those tendencies are still there. Think about yourself. Think about everything you've happened in the past, all the work you've done to heal yourself, and you think you're there. You think you've healed. I want to tell you, you haven't. Because there is so much buried in your subconscious mind that you're not aware of. Everything you see, everything you hear, every experience you've witnessed is in your subconscious mind. You may not even realize it. You may have been 2 years old and you witnessed an interaction with your mom and your dad, and it's buried in there, and it's having an impact on you. That's why when I talk about living in the now, I'm talking about we really got to let go of the past. Otherwise, we can't be in the now and we'll never be free. Jordan says, with the world focusing on COVID for 2 years, how will the space be filled as we get past this pandemic? I have no idea. I have no idea, and it depends on who you're listening to. Because if you're listening to mainstream media, what is mainstream media? Mainstream media's got to have sensational. It's got to have drama. It's got to have fear. That's the only way it can hook you. If it was telling you all the good possibilities and things, no one would be watching it. We've been conditioned into drama. So I don't know what it's going to do. Here's what it could be, Jordan. The space could be filled by you listening to people like me, listening to your inner voice, and then you don't give a rip about what the world focuses on because it doesn't matter what the world is focusing on. It matters what you're focusing on because your focus creates. There, the power's back in you. You know, my talk Sunday is on core concept number 7 on a reciprocal universe. Reciprocal universes means what you put out, you get back. So if you care about what the world is putting out and you buy into that, you're going to get that back. I think it's time you really form your views of what you want to focus on. And you know what I'm talking about, Jordan. Just focus on what you want. Johanna says, how can we reprogram our subconscious mind and change the things we don't like? It's real simple, Johanna. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you desire to experience. Looks like I was about to get a hair preening there. When you focus on what you want to experience, don't worry about the past. It's like you're installing a new software on top of an old software. And when you install a new software on top of an old software, the old software disappears. But it takes time to install that new software. And that new software means to build a different belief. Peter says, it is true. And one can only remind oneself when you tend to go back to the past. Yeah. Sometimes my own voice in my head pulls me down. Well, yeah, Kimmy, because your voice is programmed. And what you've got to do is you've got to change that inner voice. You've got to change that programming. Kai goes, I find that I beat myself up over past financial choices, which have had long-lasting effects. I realized that I had a fear of not having what I need when I needed it. I'm working on changing that. Kai, I've made the same mistakes. I've made 2 mistakes where I pulled out of the market and I shouldn't have pulled out of the market. I would be worth 20 times what I'm worth today had I not made those mistakes. But you know what? I can't change them. I just know that they're there. And then I also realize that money is not what makes me happy. It's how I view the world. Can I be in the now looking at the world? Can I let go of the past and look at the world? Or am I going to drag that past and know that I made those financial mistakes? And everything I do, I'm going to look at myself, oh, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. You're not a failure. You're an explorer. And what people that are explorers do is they go through life and they try new things, and some of them work and some of them don't. And the ones that don't, you just found another way not to succeed. And you learn from it, but you don't take the pain of the event forward with you. You take the lesson forward with you. And that allows you to look at life differently. That's the key, how I see it right now. But we are so hunkered into fear, and more than fear, we're being led into a state of, what would I call it? A state of being anxious. The world has actually got a mental atmosphere of anxiety. Anxiety is the fear of something that might happen in the future, but is not an imminent threat to us right now. There are people that say there could be a big stock market crash. Well, that's in the future. Why would you be anxious? Why would you be fearful? Why would you create those negative feelings? It's pretty simple. Yeah, Kimmy, don't take the pain forward, just the lessons. Taking the pain forward, that's optional. Taking the lessons forward, that too is optional. See, we always are at choice. We just forget. Think and Grow Rich is a great book. Absolutely right, Corey. So is The Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. 4 great books on abundance. And millions and millions and millions of people have read those books and heard the wisdom. And yet very, very few are wealthy because they don't do what's said in the book. People are looking for information. Let me tell you what knowledge is. Knowledge is taking that good information and applying it every single day. Until you apply it, you might as well be stupid. Because if you're not using the information, that, my friends, is complete ignorance. Ooh, did I just get pretty pointed on that? What do you think about that? No, don't bite me. See, the bird's mad at me that I called everyone ignorant that are not taking action. He says, don't say that truth to people. Okay, I heard you. That's why I've got him here to remind you when I go off base. Well, anyway, I feel good about today. Do you feel good about today? You do? Okay. So listen, I got a workshop coming up on the 19th. The Power in You. It's based off my book. That's available on Amazon right now. You can sign up for the workshop. It's free. It's on February 19th, Saturday. I believe it's at 9:30 in the morning, my time. And you can get it on agapespiritualcenter.com. The links are right there below in the description of this event, so you can find them there. But always remember, anything I do, agapespiritualcenter.com. Until tomorrow, know that I love you. Simply because I accept you as you are. And I friggin' don't care about your past. Aloha.